let me show you this real quick. This is Megyn Kelly. Speaking of Megyn Kelly, had Liz Wheeler on, and Liz Wheeler's one of the people who is she was one of the MAGA.
What was your
this chick right here? She was one of the MAGA influencers that got a copy of the first binder and was paraded around the Oval Office. And I would like to remind everybody again that these binders were not handed out at the Department of Justice. Pam Bondi did not invite them to the Department of Justice to pick up these binders and walk out the front of that building. They were invited to the Oval Office to get them under Trump's direction and Susie Wiles' control. So let's see. This is what Pam Bondi's attention-seeking past Epstein comments tell us about her with Liz Wheeler.
Your own personal interaction like that day when you saw Pam Bondi? I'm sure you spent some time with her. Like how did she seem to you?
She was not well, let's just say this. In the days leading up to that meeting, this was during the time that President Trump was nominating his
By the way, congratulations to Liz Wheeler for having the most generic set of anyone on, I think anywhere. Like all of this stuff, they just went down one aisle at World Market, picked up a bunch of shit to put on the shelves, and she doesn't have a book or anything. So they're just like, everything on that shelf is just a prop. Like everything about this is as fake as it possibly could be.
His different cabinet secretaries in the upper echelon of his administration. I had made
She's even got tied up like a stack of tiles right there. I don't know. Maybe those are the broken 10 commandments.
List of who I thought was the best pick, and all the way down to who I thought were the worst picks. And Pam Bondi was towards the bottom of that list.
And you told her that to her face in the Oval Office when she invited you over to give you the first binder of Epstein shit. And you're like, I don't trust this bitch. I can tell by her face that she's untrustworthy. And that's why you went outside and waved the fucking binder at the press and gave a thumbs up.
Because I didn't think that she had the experience to deal with the swamp. I didn't think that she had a
experience to deal with the swamp. Hey, dipshit. She actually supports... She helped Epstein get his deal.
Proven track record of outsmarting the swamp. I think she had shown incredible loyalty to President Trump during his impeachment proceedings.
Because he paid her?
She'd been one of his attorneys, I believe. And that was essentially the reason it appeared that Trump picked her. So I didn't go in there. I went in there open-minded, but I didn't go in there thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be the coolest meeting of all the meetings. Not that I was aware of who we were going to be meeting with in the first place.
So why wouldn't you think it would be the coolest meetings of all the meetings?
Actually was, I walked.
What is the standard by which other meetings were judged?
Walked next to her when we went from the cabinet secretary room, the meeting room, across the hall to the Oval Office. I was the one who happened to walk next to Pam Bondi, and she was talking.
Yes. Trump likes his blondes to gaggle together.
Talking to me a lot about what it had been like in the Department of Justice in I think it had been 2 weeks since she had taken the oath of office, and she said she was tired. She hadn't done a lot of sleeping, and she did a lot of complaining about Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna to me because Congresswoman Luna had been
is a witch. Sorry.
Asking a lot of questions about, hey, where are these files that were promised? How come I, as part of the Oversight Committee in Congress, am being excluded from the Department of Justice's effort to release
Why would that be? Why would they exclude someone who knows a lot about the actual thing and would have access? In theory, being a congressperson would have, could get classified access to a lot of files if you was given permission by the DOJ to help with these kind of things. Why would they keep her away?
These. And Pam Bondi did a lot of complaining about how Congresswoman Luna just didn't understand how this worked and these things take time, and didn't she understand how busy she was? And I have to say I was a little off put by that. I was just like, oh, well, okay, that's what you're focusing on.
You mean you were a little put off by it? Fuck it. You know what? I get too caught up on word order.
Even though you have the Justice Department to run. Then when we were in the Oval Office, President Trump is introducing us. There were probably 20 other people in the Oval Office at the same time, in addition to us. And he's pointing people out. He's like, yeah, this is Stephen Miller. He's doing a great job. Oh, this is a hero, Tom Homan. He's doing a great job. And he's pointing out different people. And then I hear Attorney
And then he doesn't point to Pam Bondi?
General Pam Bondi's voice from the back of the room. She was sitting on one of the sofas. She goes, what about me, Mr. President? And to be perfectly frank here, the thought that went through my mind was, wow, that was a real pick me girl comment. I did not think that was
I was like, what up, girl? Like, what? Huh? How? Like, way to make us all look bad. Yes, queen.
a good reflection on the strength of her character. Now you can say, okay, that's just a comment. Does that actually reflect on her ability at the Department of Justice or not?
I don't know. And considering you're wearing a burlap shirt, it's hard to tell.
I don't know. I'll let you decide. But maybe it demonstrates her effort or her desire to be a MAGA champion and to be a Fox News star, because she was demonstrating, again, a pattern of wanting attention.
Right. And so you think that her strategy, her plan to make this a reality is by not releasing the Epstein files, lying to everybody, and then putting out a memo and acting like she said something different than the interviews that she gave about it. Genius.
Mm-hmm. And he did not give her the attention when he tweeted out about Dan and Cash last week when they came under fire.
Well, in all fairness, she is a woman.
Was it as recently as Monday? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was after. It was after the memo.
It was after the release of the memo. It had to be, because that's when they were getting pummeled. And he sent out a complimentary tweet about Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, and notably said nothing about Pam Bondi. So I do wonder what the president thinks about all this and what the president knows. Haven't yet figured out whether this is a Trump directive thing, like we're moving on from Epstein for reasons.
Hey, fuckhead. She just said we were brought into the White House. All the cabinet people were there. She was brought into this, and they were handed these binders in the Oval Office. Liz Wheeler was invited into the Oval Office by Trump. He's either in charge or he isn't. I don't want to hear any shit about Biden wasn't in charge of the White House. If you motherfuckers are going to act like anything that happens in the Oval Office, that somebody else set that up. He was just thinking about golf.
Reasons we don't understand, whether they're intel reasons or other reasons. But I definitely think if the president said to these three, we're done with Epstein, it would explain all of the behavior of this past week, not Pam Bondi's behavior prior. Because that I do see a real split here, and I don't mean to just side with Bongino in this, because I care
Yeah, you do.
about him and he's a friend. I don't know Cash Patel at all. I mean, if this is the logic, I'd throw anybody I don't know that well under the bus, then he should be under the bus too. But what I've seen since the beginning of the administration is those two guys who were very focused on Epstein prior to taking the roles have said nothing. They have not done the little bread trail Trump.
Yes, the bread trail Trump. I understand. Yeah. No, don't even rethink it. That was perfect.
The
Nailed
roles
it.
have said nothing. They have not done the little bread trail Trump. Breadcrumb trail from the moment of taking off.
Now you've ruined it. It was perfect.
They've said nothing. And the first thing we saw from them.
That's not true. That's not true. They didn't say nothing. They said he killed himself. No, nothing to see here. Go to sleep.
Was on Fox and Friends, where we were all shocked to hear them saying he killed himself. I mean, that's just what the evidence is. And if you have something to prove me wrong, show me. But I'm telling you, you're going to see some. We saw Cash on Joe Rogan being like, if I had evidence of him with all these, little girls, or if I had a third parties with young girls, don't you think I'd show that to you? And Rogan seemed to be saying, so what you're saying is you don't have it. And Cash is basically just saying, if I have it, you'll see it. And we haven't seen it. So they didn't do what she did. And I've, over the course of the past 4 days, gotten to where you I think are, which is, I think she was thirsty for attention. I think she was
What the fuck? Hold on. She put, this memo is unsigned. It comes from basically all three of them, or the White House. Like, it could have very well, nobody signed it. So it could have been dictated by Trump himself, for all you fucking know. And if he's the leader you say he is, it more than likely was. Also, she came out and you talk about leaving a trail of Trumps everywhere. She's the one who, was pointing out, like, we're working on this bit by bit. Here are these things. She did interviews saying stuff would come out. And then when she pulled the rug, it was because she had left a trail of Trumps that everybody jumped on her for it.
Enjoying the hits on Fox, on Hannity, on Waters, in the middle of the day with John Roberts and saying, like, I've got all the answers on Epstein. I've got all the juicy dish, and I'll be the one to give it to you, until she either found out that wasn't true and realized this is why attorneys general don't talk like this ever.
That's right. Try to be professional, Pam Bondi. You don't talk out of, that's why you don't talk about an ongoing investigation. You know how we bitched about everybody talking about ongoing investigations before?
About their ongoing investigations ever. You almost never hear from attorney general. It's the one person in any administration, Republican or Democrat, who you really can't get. There's only so much transparency you're
unless it's Bill Barr, of course, running interference for Trump in the Russia investigation.
Supposed to get from an attorney general, given the way criminal investigations work. And then realize, like, she had an oh shit moment of she's humiliated herself and the administration. Or again, I don't know, something else. Or it was real in the first place, and now she's doing the lying. This I don't know the truth on.
No, and I think there's a couple of things.
I think that's true as well. I think we can all agree there are a couple of things.
I'm also friends with Dan Bongino, and I can say with confidence that he is one of the good guys.
In Bongholio's defense, and I hate to be joining in the cheerleading squad here about him, that he very well may be telling the truth about what he knows simply because the dude can't fucking read. There's a very strong possibility that Dan Bongholio went through all these documents and came away with the exact opposite of what they actually say. We have seen this time and time again where Bongino on his fucking show would play a clip and go, as they said in that, and misquote it entirely after we all just saw it. And they, in theory, replayed it for him as he spoke about it. It could very well be that Bongino is telling the truth only because he's that fucking dumb that he just doesn't, he can't comprehend the words in the documents in front of him. I'm dead serious. I feel like that's why they think he's innocent and trustworthy, because he's just that dopey.
I actually appreciate that he has said so openly, listen, this is not about trust. You don't believe something just because you trust me. You wait for the evidence. And I think that
or lack thereof.
We should be focusing a lot on that comment. I think that that's not only an incredibly humble comment and probably a very difficult comment for someone.
It's also cowardice. It's also, you know that maggots don't trust anybody because they're paranoid by nature. And so you're dealing with a bunch of lunatics. And secondarily, if you don't have the evidence to do something about it, you don't have to go look because it's supposed to be handed to you. You're not an investigator. So as deputy director of the FBI, you can go, I don't know, there's no file on my desk that says this. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
Someone who's used to being able to set the record straight. I think there's a lot more to that comment that meets the eye. I also don't know Kash Patel personally. I liked his book. I like what he said. We have to remember, though, that his boss is Attorney General Pam Bondi. So there's only so much that you can do. There's only so much that you can do in those positions if your boss is giving you a directive or to contradict your boss publicly. So
now what you're pitching is that not only is Pam Bondi full of shit, she's directing Kash Patel to lie about Epstein's death and hide evidence. Excellent. And Trump has still kept her in her job. Okay.
So maybe that's me extending too much benefit of the doubt there, but I think that's a possible explanation.
That's just fucking insanity. This is terrible no matter which way it goes.
Think that the base, President Trump's voter base, would have accepted more readily just an honest analysis. When Dan Bongino and Kash Patel took over the FBI, I mean, I know a lot of people at the upper echelons of the FBI and the Department of Justice now.
Why?
And I was told on good authority that it's like a thermonuclear bomb was set off in there, that they walk in and they don't even know where the locks are, let alone having the keys to unlock those locks.
They're being undermined.
They are, and there's been evidence destruction. There's been the hiding of evidence. So if these individuals,
well, then why didn't they just say we didn't find enough evidence, or that some of the evidence seems to be missing, or it may have existed but we haven't found it? Why would they say there is no there? That would be the easiest thing. We've yet to find it. We're going to keep looking in case there's anything that we have missed. But as of now, what we have in front of us, it does not point in this direction. You could say that, or I can't talk about some sections of this because it's an ongoing. They didn't do that. In that memo, they were basically like, there's nothing here. Move along. Time to move along.
Pam Bondi is the one that I think is the buck stops with Pam Bondi. She's the one directing this narrative. She could have said, listen, we got in here and the Epstein files are empty. We don't know why. We don't know if it was destroyed or hidden or if the investigation was done negligently. We don't know whether there was a cover up, but we do want to be honest with you and say, no, we can't produce the dirt that you expected because we don't have it. Megyn, that's very different than giving us this definitive statement like none of these.
That's just what I said. And it's interesting. This is why they're not going to let it go. That's why I said this is going to hang on.
Things are true. A client list doesn't exist. He definitively killed himself. What?
And
what?
almost like you guys are idiots
evidence
for thinking otherwise. Like,
yeah, I mean, that I will give them. You guys are idiots. The thinking otherwise part is immaterial to this, but I do think that they're basically getting a perverse pleasure out of calling you idiots to your face.
there's a tonality in there that it's like, what kind of an idiot would be pursuing this at this point?
Yeah, and you know who has the worst version of it? Fucking Bungholio. He killed himself. He killed himself. Look, he killed himself. I looked at it. He's the one who's the most condescending.
The other piece that's really been irritating me is how she keeps being like, okay, we found these tens of thousands of pictures of child sexual assault material, and no one is ever going to see that. No one's getting, as if that is what anybody wants to see. Like,
well, apparently someone around her is bugging her to see all of it. Maybe that's the question you should be asking. Who in the cabinet, Stephen Miller, who is it, that's saying, I want to take a look at all the evidence, all those files you found?
She's trying to diminish the demands for more information by pretending what people want is to see the child pornography that Jeffrey Epstein enjoyed looking at. It's such a straw man. No one would ever expect the DOJ or want the DOJ to release that. She's just pretending.
Again, I love them finally coming around to the most obvious, simple points that everybody, that Democrats and people like myself and others have automatically went to. What the fuck? You're just hiding behind this stuff. Release the others. Nobody wants that. It's taken Megyn Kelly 4 fucking days.
Pretending that the demands on her are so unreasonable because that's what these so-called influencers seem to be wanting from her. That's not it at all. She said there was a whole treasure trove of documents before she even knew, apparently, that there were all these pictures of child sexuals. She was saying there's a ton of other stuff that you're going to get before it appears even Pam Bondi understood that.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm starting to think she might be completely full of shit.
Epstein had troves of child pornography on his computer.
Yeah, and by the way, that post that it was a long post. It was as long as an op-ed that I posted. I think it was later that same day. I think I wrote it rage texting it on the airplane on my flight home, posted it when I landed that day in February after the White House when I was talking about this is the real story, understand the context of everything that happened. The way that I described what was expected from the SDNY, I phrased very carefully because I used only phrases that had been used to me that day.
Thank you. Yes. Yes, power phrases.
Meaning, I don't have the post up in front of me, but if I said photos, it's because Pam Bondi said photos. If I said videos, it's because Pam Bondi said videos. I didn't list everything that everyone wanted to see and just recklessly said, oh, it's in that. I only listed the things that the SDNY was supposed to be in possession of because that's what I was told by Pam Bondi, who hadn't seen it, that's what the SDNY was going to deliver to her.
And then an ad by Megyn Kelly in front of her giant Georgia O'Keeffe background for God knows what. I don't know. Seriously, what is she selling? We don't care. Yeah, it's gold. I knew. I was going to say gold. I was like, it's probably gold. Yeah, it's gold. Now, this is, how am I doing on time? Okay, I'm all right. Because there's so much of this shit. the rest of Maggotdom is not having a good time dealing with this. Let me get rid of that. I've already done. Okay, so let's check this out. So somebody that used to be all in with Trump, and in recent days, especially largely because she's just become so anti-Semitic in what she's covering, that anything Trump does, that because he supported Israel in her mind, which I don't think he does, I think he wants Gaza turned into a real estate development, and he wants Kushner and the Trump organization to have dibs on that area. He doesn't give a rat's ass about the security of Israel or anything, and thinks that eventually everybody in the Middle East is going to be as transactional as he is. And the bombing of Iran, that like there's a bunch of things that like she turned on him for. But check this out. I think, let me see if.
But he's doing it. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is becoming this perfect example about how our reality is just being shaped for us. I feel like we're in a video game. Do you feel like we're in a video game?
No, you have more control in a video game, dipshit.
And we're maybe losing. And now as
No, if I'm in a video game, I'm winning.
we're starting to realize this matrix, it's glitching in front of us. And the people who created.
Well, then you can't lose. That's just, if a video game glitches, you can't be, I mean, you're not responsible for whether you win or lose.
That are basic.
How plays Roseanne, please? Okay, I haven't seen a clip from her. Maybe there is one. I'll look it up.
Saying, ha ha, nana boo boo, you can't do anything. They don't care because what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's basically the Trump administration in a nutshell.
And I want to be clear, the headlines today, yesterday, they have been unequivocal to Trump, right? They have said, your base hates this, okay? MAGA is splitting over this Epstein thing, left, right, and center. All
Well, there's not. Is there a left wing of MAGA?
the publications, literally. Conservative one.
It probably is her video card, Bob. You're absolutely right.
Liberal ones, ones in the middle. Here are just some of the headlines making that very clear. Here's CNN. Trump is daring MAGA to oppose him right now. That's what it kind of feels like. It's a dare. Like, are you going to oppose me?
By the way, you're right. That is Candace Owens citing CNN as a legitimate news source on a story. So, anyways, back to something legacy media.
I'm Trump. Washington Post, same thing. Immigration, Epstein, Ukraine, Trump's moves roil the MAGA base. This is Al Jazeera. Why is MAGA angry with Trump? And Pam Bondi over the Epstein files.
She's going with, well, of course she's going with Al Jazeera. It's run by the Qatari government.
This is the Daily Caller, conservative. Dark forces at play. MAGA revolts over Trump's DOJ's Epstein findings. It's even trending on Truth Social, so we can't miss this, right? Truth Social has their trending topics. That is literally Trump's social media platform, and it's all regarding Epstein. Look at this.
That is beautiful. That's amazing.
Epstein cover-up, Epstein client list, hashtag Epstein. And let's be clear, Trump won this last election decisively because many people on the left came over to the right. Why do they do that?
Because a bunch of people of color don't like other people of color, and they, in certain districts, people miss that or assume that wasn't a thing, and that all the conversation about BIPOC actually is sort of insulting to everybody involved in that, and they kind of bristled at it in the same way that a lot of them bristle at Latinx, and there was a different group of immigrants that's come in over the last few years, especially ones that have paid their way into the country, that didn't want other people coming in because that's who they escaped from in their own country, and also money.
For two reasons. One, because Make America Healthy Again, the MAGA movement, obviously RFK Jr. was significant with that.
That's right. Big fans of measles.
You know, moms.
It means that she is right about the hippie chicks that RFK Jr. was fucking on the campaign trail that he dragged over, with his anti-fluoride bullshit.
We're upset about this, everything that's happening with the CDC, COVID, but also because of the promise of no more wars.
No forever wars. That was the thing. No more forever wars. Trump didn't run as a peacenik.
Everyone's tired. We have fatigue.
Yeah, but that's not a reason to not go to war. If somebody declares war on you, you got to fight back and save your country. It's got to fucking matter. So you can have all the fatigue in the world, but it's like drowning. Like we all have swimming fatigue, but I bet your ass that if you were drowning, you'd swim as hard as you could, dummy.
Again, I'm going to throw it to Cigar and Tucker that are discussing that. Take a listen.
Cigar? You mean Sagar? I don't know. Maybe they call him Cigar around the office.
The problem is the promise of MAGA is America first, and the contradiction is just too obvious. You can't, if you're Joe Biden and you're, senile and it's being run by a bunch of sinister, shadowy figures in the
who are really dedicated to passing an infrastructure act and raising the child tax credit
background, and you do
and making sure everyone is vaccinated so that the country gets back on its feet faster than any country in the world, and we have the lowest unemployment in 60 years.
Something like this. It's like, of course they're doing it. But if you get up and you say, we're going to restore greatness to this country, we're going to do it by putting our own interests first. That's what every country does. That's kind of natural. It's organic. And then you put the interests of a country of 9 million people above your own in a way that's just insulting.
Yes.
People can't deal with that. Like,
And
their
they
brains start to explode. And I think this is blowing up the coalition.
Okay, I guess that's Israel? Is that what he means?
Actually, on our show, our producer went to the Bronx, AOC's district, and interviewed people who were AOC Trump voters. And the number one reason that we got from them was war. It was the promise to bring an end to the war, both in Israel and Gaza and in Ukraine.
Yeah, which is fucking hilarious. Because basically you were just interviewing insane people.
So yesterday, as I said, the base looked at Trump and said, what the hell are you doing? Okay.
Finally.
And then Pam Bondi gets up there. She tries to tell us that they don't know if Jeffrey Epstein was working for another country. They don't know. They don't know if he was working for another country. And yet we...
Oh, by the way, Candace means the Jews. She means Israel. Listen to his last name. Of course he was working for Israel. Epstein, huh? What, do you think he was working for Mr. Kater?
know, all of us know, but he was working for Israel. But Pam Bondi and the state, they don't know.
Do we? Do we, though? Do we? I mean, you jump to it because he's Jewish, but do you know? Because he could have just been blackmailing people for other billionaires, you know.
Know that. But all of us know that. And now the question is, why can't Trump admit that?
That's because the first time he fucked Melania was on Epstein's plane. And that's because Trump was on Epstein's plane somewhere between 7 and 11 times. And Epstein was more than likely on Trump's plane many more times than that.
I want to be
possibly. Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Clear. Jeffrey Epstein sexually harmed children. Okay?
Yes, and Donald Trump was friends with him for 2.5 decades. And you motherfuckers shrug it off. You think Hillary Clinton was in the basement of a pizza parlor that doesn't even have a fucking basement, and you're still clinging to that shit, that she somehow is part of some baby brain-eating cabal. And yet Donald Trump, in an interview, praises Epstein, says he likes him young, and then Trump himself brags about barging in on teen contestants in the Miss Teen USA contest and looking at them naked because he's allowed to go there. Talks about his own daughters, sexualizes like Tiffany's tits before she's fucking born. And you guys can't put it together.
How can you possibly not?
How can you possibly vote for somebody like that, fuckhead? Seriously. Biden's a goddamn Catholic. Like, he himself is pro-life. He's not for abortion. He thinks women should have the right to do it because it's a moral choice. And those kind of decisions on the morality of that are a decision for the afterlife. Judge not, lest ye be judged. He's a real Christian. But you had to vote for the pussy grabber in chief.
Not find the courage to stand up and say the truth about who he was doing that on behalf of. The same country that factually protects American pedophiles if they move to Israel after they commit their crimes against children.
Oh, I didn't realize Scott Ritter had a summer home there. You've been attacking Ukraine this whole time, just like Scott Ritter. That guy's okay, though, with you? I mean, a dude was convicted twice.
We're not stupid. Everyone is waking up to what Israel is. Everyone's waking up to the stranglehold that they have on our politicians, our foreign policy. And now we're going back and we're realizing that it's maybe always been this way.
No, we're not. No. Mm-mm. They don't have a stranglehold on our policy. And by the way, Biden and Harris wouldn't have limited the weapons going to them. Wouldn't have insisted on airdropping aid into Gaza against the wishes of Netanyahu. If they control everybody, why did they give a fuck who gets elected? They could. I mean, honestly, why would they even weigh in on anybody?
That our policy is essentially, when Israel gets caught with its pants down, our government will still rush to defend them.
Sorry, is that what you think happened on October 7th? Jesus Christ, this woman.
As was the case with Jonathan Pollard, Trump, we talked about this yesterday, granting this spy clemency. Are you kidding me? Take a listen to Tucker Carlson speaking about that.
I mean, let's take the case of Jonathan Pollard, who's one of the biggest traitors in the history of the United States for passing classified information on to the Israeli government. Prime Minister Netanyahu used to visit our soil and actively campaign and urge our presidents of the United States to pardon Jonathan Pollard.
And all of them couldn't wait to do it because basically Israel controls the U.S. government. Oh, wait, no, they didn't do it. Trump did.
For betraying our country to his country.
Do you have any idea what they did with that classified information, those secrets?
Well, I actually have no idea.
They gave them to the Soviet Union.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
And this was in the 80s during the Cold War.
It was 1985.
It was 85.
Yeah,
I remember it well. I lived in Washington. The full focus of the U.S. government was in opposition to the Soviets. And the Israelis gave a lot of that classified information from the U.S. Navy to the Soviet government in exchange for allowing refuseniks, Jewish Soviet citizens, to move to Israel, which I'm totally for. I mean, I'm glad that they got out. I'm glad that they got out of the Soviet Union and made it to Israel. That's great. But they took our secrets and gave them to our main enemy, our really only global enemy. What?
Yeah.
And obviously Bill Clinton wanted to. I'm sorry, not Bill Clinton. George W. Bush wanted to. I'm sorry, not Barack Obama. That's what it was. Barack Obama wanted to grant this guy clemency, but no, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden wanted to grant clemency. Oh, sorry. Trump did it. The rest of them didn't.
So here's the picture that's emerging, ladies and gentlemen. The American policy is that Israel can do whatever the hell it wants.
If Trump is in charge.
They can assassinate sitting presidents. They can steal our secrets and hand it to the enemy. They can.
That guy stole them and handed it. He traveled through Israel was the idea.
Steal our technology. They can blackmail our politicians.
With what? Obviously, if they haven't done anything.
And businessmen.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, they have a real hard time blackmailing some of our politicians.
They can protect those who rape our children. They can murder Palestinian children. They can steal land. They can blackmail sitting presidents, like they did with Clinton.
That's right. And then they can go and visit Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and the people who were holding the Genocide Joe signs outside of the DNC don't bother them at all. All right. Anyways. She's a one, this is a one-note piano. Everything leads back to Israel.